Want to introduce you to the new baby goats. They were born last night. The timing was not great. I had to go to a meeting, and fortunately I had 4 gals here, and so they helped deliver these babies. And Miss Ariel helped really with the last one. It came out backwards, and so there needed some assistance there. And this mama, this is her first time, and so that was extremely helpful. This morning in our devotional, we're also talking about timing and a birth. The setting is extremely important. When you take a look in Luke chapter 2, it says this, "And it came to pass in those days there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that all the world shall be taxed." So what we see here is a focus on an individual that had sovereign rule from Rome, and the focus was finances. Now, why is this, and what has happened? Well, Rome was a republic until this time, and they had really experienced great wealth and affluence until they began to descend into debauchery. That sin began to erode everything. Immorality was everywhere. That brought about a society that began to pretty much implode. Civil war came about, inflation came about, brutality followed. It was terrible. So there was a ruler named Octavius that took on the name Caesar Augustus, elevated one, and he elevated himself right to the point of monarch. And so he began to rule, and the first thing he did was this tax. So you see now, here's the god of Mammon operating in Caesar Augustus, and the true and living God shows up on the scene. Now it's interesting, if you ask people, do you know who Caesar Augustus is, or do you know who Jesus is? People know Jesus over Augustus. Now as we follow this through, we're going to see that Mary and Joseph, they travel to Bethlehem. You do a little research, you'll see there's 2 Bethlehems. But when you take a look at Micah 5:2, you're going to see that there is a particular Bethlehem they're going to travel to according to prophecy. That's where they had to go because of this tax thing. Now, Mary didn't have to go with him necessarily, but she went anyway. And that's where Jesus was born, to fulfill prophecy. Can you imagine traveling that far in that state? We had to bring this mama goat from the pasture down here last night in that state, and she was not happy. So we see here that they come to Bethlehem. Well, Bethlehem means house of bread. And we know that Jesus is the bread of life. One of the first things that they wanted after the babies were born and after she gave birth was to eat. And so she was hungry. Well, we see society was very hungry for truth, and Jesus was that truth. Now, today, when we look at our world today, I feel like our world is the same state that Rome was in. And there are those that are looking for a leader that will come on the scene and take care of everything. Well, this is what Caesar Augustus intended to do. This is what the Antichrist will do. Let's not look for a man. Let's look for Jesus. There were very few looking for Jesus at that time. There were 2 that I recall in the Bible. Let us be amongst that minority that continues to look for Jesus in this time period. May God richly bless you. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you want to come out and see the babies, let me know. We've got a couple more maybe coming. So God bless you. We'll see you tomorrow.